you were just speaking about God as being one. So this is like true or false. Did not God emphasize him being as one? And then the issue became that there were idols. And the Jewish people, and again, I'm not isolating Jewish people, but they had their idols and other gods. So, you know, there can be no other God. God is one. However, Christians understand, and there seems to be a misunderstanding that we, of course, say God is one, but Jesus is, in a sense, like a microcosm of God. God is perfectly capable of manifesting himself as a human being and still being one. Now, I also want to address...
You can address that, but let me ask you a question, Judy, just to understand your view, because I'm not quite sure. You will ask that question. Just for a moment, I want to understand this. Do you believe that, I know you believe in God the Father. Do you believe that God the Father is the Son? Is God the Father begotten? Is God the Father the Logos? Or do these characteristics belong to Jesus alone? What do you believe about that?
No, I believe that as one person, like we are body, soul, and spirit, God can be three-dimensional. So the Father is the Father of Jesus, meaning that he was manifested. God was able to, as the Father of us and him.
What does that mean to you? That
manifested.
I'm not, Judy, I just ask you, please keep her on. First of all, you're very sweet for putting up with me. I'm very grateful to you. You're a very sweet woman. I just want to understand this. If God if the Father is God and Jesus, the Son, is God, what does the word Father and Son then mean? What does that designation even mean? Could you give some meaning to it? I mean, the Father is not the Son, right? Jesus alone is the Son. The Father is not the Son. So what does that mean then? I mean, if they're all one, why isn't the Father the Son?
Yeah, I've asked that question myself because I question that, like, really, is Jesus like God's only son? But he's the only son on earth. He took...
I got that. My question is, why aren't we looking at two gods? An example, in the Christian Bible, Jesus is having long dialogues with God, asking him questions, things that he does not know the answer to. Why have you forsaken me? He has a whole series of requests and prayers in the farewell discourse extending from John 13 through John 17. Like, is he talking to himself? Does he not know the time of the end? Does he not share the mind of God if he's just the same thing? Explain that to me, because that's what I can't wrap my head around.
Well, it's like, I know you've studied this extensively, and I'm sure you've heard every answer, but he took the form of a man, and he allowed himself limitations so that he could accomplish what he needed to accomplish for the salvation, the provision of salvation, which it seems like that was the only solution for the state of mankind. The state of mankind was that, yes, God was forgiving everybody, but it still wasn't, the solution hadn't.
I get that, Judy, and if you want, I'll abandon this. But I really want to understand how your mind works. You've called in many times, and I feel enriched by having you as a viewer. When Jesus asked God in the Passion, "Take this cup, not as my will, but of your will." That means they have different wills, and Jesus is requesting the Father. That means Jesus is not God, and he's asking God of something. Jesus actually says in John 5 that I can do nothing of my own will, but only the one who sent me. It's very clear that it's not like God just manifested in the flesh, because Jesus really doesn't know the answer of why have you forsaken me? And his will is different. His mind is different. Jesus doesn't know the time of the end, Mark 13:32. And that's why I implore you to help me. I understand the Christologies. I implore you to explain to me how the doctrine of the Trinity is not idolatry if you state that Jesus was God and his humanity did not diminish from his divinity.